Hey guys, Ninja Guy VR here, and Steam Next Fest is here again. This is a great event organized by Steam that happens 3 times a year, and this is to promote upcoming games coming out sometime soon by releasing a demo of their game. This time around we've gotten a total of 22 VR games and I had the opportunity to try them all. So today I would like to give you my quick thoughts on all of them, while ranking them from the worst experience to the best one. So let's go through them now. Now, sadly, the first game that I tried, Echoes of the Sun, didn't work. The game starts and you see a glowing sun in front of you, but no menu pops up. It's a shame because the trailer looks very promising and I love the graphics that it offers. It reminds me of a game that I really enjoyed called Grappin. I'll keep an eye out and hopefully they'll be fixing this issue. Another unfortunate issue here is with Orc Hunter Elven Archers. For some reason, my controllers wouldn't track. I've managed to press the new game button and get into the world, but my hands just weren't detected for some reason, which is strange since I've seen other people play it no problem. I've been reporting these issues to the devs, so hopefully it helps them. Alright, finally a game that I can play. Although very disappointing. Golden Kingdom is simply a tech demo of an open world. There's nothing to do other than just walking around. It's hard to even call this one a game since there's nothing to do. I don't even have hands in there, it's just showing controllers. There's a castle in the far distance, but I didn't bother going to it as I got bored way before that. There are other videos out there of people reaching the castle, so make sure to check it out if you're curious. Next up is Unpatterned Cut. Alright, moving on. Hidden Breed's demo is basically just a wave-killing game. You possess 2 flying discs that works pretty well. This is lower on the list because I'm personally not a big fan of wave types of games. It doesn't have enough meat in this one, although there is a campaign planned out and may have some interesting things about it in the full release. I'm not sure if the waves are infinite or not. I died a couple of times on wave 5 and decided to move on, but it can be a nice afternoon time waster. The concept seemed interesting, but after going through it, it felt like the type of VR game that you'd see in the early VR days. It is a physics-based puzzle game. The puzzle aspect of it felt really simple, like finding items to unlock doors or climbing a wall to get to the top. As a side note, I just want to mention that the walking animation is pretty weird. The only thing that felt cool was the wall walking. There were sections where you were able to do that and it felt unique. When you encounter your first real puzzle, it felt so janky and took me forever to complete. Not because it was complicated, but because the cubes were colliding with my body, and it was impossible to do a precise aiming of the laser. I might have cheesed the puzzle, I have no idea. Steelrunner's subtitle basically explains what the game is about. It's a VR Blockcraft sandbox. The thing that it reminds me the most is the Gummy Ship section in Kingdom Hearts, where you have to build your ship. It's a sandbox. There's no goal in the game other than gathering resources and defeating enemies to get more types of blocks. You can then go to another outpost, but there are very difficult sections. I mean, there's enough to be entertained in it, but sandboxes are just not for me. Well, at least I was entertained at doing a shooting penis. One of my greatest accomplishments. Phantom Asylum is a little bit of a weird one. I'm kind of curious about it, but the demo didn't completely sold me. You start in this cell, and you can check other cells, which all have kind of a fear in it, while you try to escape at the same time. I find that it felt too much like a demonstration, and it's hard to tell exactly what it's going to be, so we'll see when it comes out. Guys, you know me, I love puzzle games, but I couldn't get much into wet VR for some reason. The goal is to water those little potato-like creatures by elevating or lowering the ground. The water flowing physics are cool, but for me personally, it's just not engaging enough. Mega Racer Quantum Rush reminds me a lot of a game called Kart Rider Drift on flat screen. It's a kart racer, and if I can guess, it looks like it might be a free-to-play release. It's the type of game where you grind cash to unlock cosmetics and stuff. You'll be able to buy this currency with real money if needed. This is a game where it needs to be populated with other players for it to be fun, or else it will feel like an empty world. So I hope that it picks up. It's a game where it's definitely aimed at a younger audience, so I probably won't be revisiting it on full release. You get a nice variety of things like kart racing, of course, hitting the ball to the goal on time, collect boxes with a time limit, and things like that. You get daily quests to get more currency and things that keeps you wanting to go back. It could be a promising one, but I think that it needs a little bit more work. The descent is promising, although for some reason, I had a hard time getting sound in the game. It's a horror game, so without sound, the ambience wasn't too nerve-wracking. You start the tutorial in your detective building, which has way too much reading, something that I dislike in VR. But when you're sent to the mines, that's when it gets pretty fun. You have to figure out how to proceed to places by getting keys and things, doing all of that in the dark, and I think that this could potentially be a good one. I'm keeping an eye out. You all know how simulator games work. I'm not into doing labor in a game, but after putting Forklift Driving Simulator on, I kinda dig it. It's a pretty relaxing experience and you get pretty zen after you get a hang of the controls, just doing your thing. The game is mission based and you get up to 3 stars depending on your performance. The game felt polished and what you see is what you get. So if you want to do some forklifting, here it is. Pets and Stuff, similar to forklifting, is a game where I wasn't thinking much about it, but when I started playing, it just felt very zen and relaxing again. You're basically a pet groomer and receive pet after pet where you have to clean them up in order to proceed to the next one. You obtain stars depending on if you've done the full job, and you can spend these stars by remodeling your place. The demo was limited by some remodeling that was locked and also by the type of equipment that you need to clean the animals. It's a fun time waster if you want to clean up pets and make them happy. Alright guys, we're pretty much getting into the games that I enjoyed now. Alliance Peace Fighter was pretty cool. It gave me that Star Fox type of vibe where you have friends fighting with you in space. There's a story to the game and the gameplay is simple and arcadey, but I like that style of gameplay. The dev was super responsive during Next Fest. We had some joystick feedback, and they adjusted it just a day later. And they confirmed that they would fix other VR issues with it. This game is in my wishlist and I will give it a try on release if I have the time. Okay, so I know that Evacuation Zone Tempere doesn't look like a high-budget game, but I don't know, it just has its charm and I enjoyed this small demo. It's a story-focused zombie shooter that is inspired by Finland culture. The graphics reminded me of a game that I enjoyed on flat screen called From Space, and I'd be down going through the whole game when it comes out if I have the time. Collecting bullets, solving puzzles, killing zombies. A great budget Arizona Sunshine. Project Nova was a fun one. It kind of reminds me of Rit Matter, a story-focused puzzle adventure, but this one is happening in space. It seems like you've collided with a meteorite, and you're now trying to assess the damage and understand what's happening. The mechanics of going outside your ship was cool, but the puzzle still felt a little primitive. It's a game where I could see myself finish, if the story is engaging enough. Sportpeda Cyberdash was the only VR fitness game, and thankfully, it was fun. It's very arcadey where you have to race to the finish line while trying to beat the global leaderboard. You move your hands in a running motion, and there are 3 modes that you can play. One where you have to punch targets, one that you have to slice targets in a specific direction, and one where you have to ram targets. I calculated the number of calories I burned while playing it, and I did burn a little more than what Beat Saber usually do. The only frustrating thing though is that for some reason, the game was lagging in crucial moments, which made me fall off the map. So I do think that it needs a little bit more polish. So if you know me really well, you know that I like weird games. So obviously, Ploko was the one that I was the most excited about. And there's a cat. The game is pretty simple and mindless. You have to build certain locations with items that are given to you. They tell you where the pieces go, but sometimes there are certain pieces that needs to go first. When you're done with your location, you then need to take an assortment of specific pictures, and you're only given small hints of what they are. And when you take the picture, you'll see your cat, Ploko, in it. You can also dress Ploko with a few things. I've enjoyed my time with Wipe Clean. I've heard others say that it's like Power Wash Simulator, but for an 18+ audience, and I agree. You're basically an undercover person who's cleaning crime scenes while trying to investigate what exactly happened. You'll need to dispose of bodies, clean up the trash in the room, and then pressure wash the room from all of the blood. When all is done, you then do some investigation to figure out what exactly happened. That was a cool little extra thing that I was not expecting, which adds some puzzle aspects to it. I was pleasantly surprised and would definitely recommend it.
He was actually killing people and eating them. He was putting human meat in his special cut burger.
Looks like we're finally getting a decent MOBA in VR, and it's going to be free to play. Crystal Conquest can be played with other players or with bots. You'll play tributary matches where you have to destroy your opponent's towers, and then defeat their spirit at the end. It works really well and I enjoyed the spells. It's easy to learn and pretty much get the hang of it after one match. There is another mode available that I didn't have a chance to try, and some of those features will be coming later, like a merchant. I had a pretty positive experience with it. Stratogun almost made it first in the list. It's a simple arcade-style game, but it's so fun. It reminds me of the old Asteroid or Super Stardust. You have to shoot asteroids and stars that are coming at you while trying to increase your score in the global leaderboard. You get access to bombs, slow motion, and dash power-ups that are really helpful. And looks like there's more to the game, because after a certain point, I reached a boss, which was really unexpected. I couldn't defeat it in my last run, but I really want to go back into this one. Definitely in my wishlist. It would be cool if they would put it on the Quest in mixed reality mode. Alright guys, the game from Next Fest where I felt was the overall best was Journey Up. You are a robot, and your only goal is to climb up until you reach the top. You have to be careful because if you fall, you may end up at the very beginning and have to start all over. It's the game that felt the most polished in there. Looks like you'll also be able to play multiplayer with friends, which sounds really fun. And another crazy thing is that they have Live integrated in the game without any extra tools. I hope that this one do well. I definitely want to check it out when I have some time. Thanks everyone who stick to the end. I love doing those videos. Going through so many games so quickly is such a rush. I hope that you enjoyed it, and if you do, I'll keep making them. So make sure to hit that subscribe button. Let me know in the comments what game you think that you'll be trying. I'm very curious if you feel the same as me. Alright, see you soon!